Naming binary compounds. Naming compounds that contain a metal and a non-metal is our binary ionic compounds. This contain positive cation and a negative anion. There are two types of this compound. The type 1 compounds, the metal present forms only one cation, while the type 2 compounds, the metal present can form two or more cations with different charges. For type 1 compounds, example of the metal will have sodium, cesium, calcium, and aluminum. For the type 2 compounds, we have chromium, which could have a charge of 2 positive or 3 positive, copper, which could have a charge of 1 positive or 2 positive. For a type 1 binary ionic compound, we follow the rule of naming that the cation is always named first and the anion second. A simple cation takes its name from the name of the element. For example, Na1 positive is called sodium in the names of compounds containing this ion. A simple anion is named by taking the first part of the element's name and adding IDE. Thus, I- or I1 negative will be iodide. Therefore, NaI will be sodium iodide. Another example, Ca is called calcium and O is oxide. Therefore, CaO is calcium oxide. Now it's your turn. For the first example, our first element or our cation is K, which is potassium. And our anion here is Cl, therefore it's chloride. So KCl will be potassium chloride. The second example, we have Mg, which is magnesium. And our anion is Br, or bromide. Therefore, MgBr2 is magnesium bromide. The last example, we have Ba. Ba is barium, and O is oxide. Therefore, BaO is barium oxide. The type 2 naming compounds would be the metal ion here having more than one charge. We use Roman numeral to specify the charge. For example, gold here can have Au1 positive or Au3 positive. So for AuCl, where the gold is positive 1, we name it as gold, parentheses, Roman numeral 1, which is your charge, and then Cl, which is chloride. Now for AuCl3, Au here is 3 positive. Therefore, when we name this, it will be gold, parentheses, Roman numeral 3, and then Cl, which is chloride. Now, as you can see in this table, these are examples of metals with 2 or more charges. Now it's your turn. So for the type 2 compounds, the first thing that we have to do is check the anion's charge for us to determine what is the cation's charge. So for the first example, CuBr, Br is 1 negative. Therefore, Cu should be 1 positive. That is because the total of the charges should be 0 for a compound to be balanced. So CuBr, Br is 1 negative, Cu will be 1 positive. So when we name this will be copper, parentheses, Roman numeral 1, Br is bromide. The second example, we check S, sulfur, which is 2 negative. Therefore, Fe is 2 positive. Therefore, when we name this FeS, it will be iron, parenthesis, Roman numeral 2, sulfide. And then the last example, we check oxygen. Oxygen has a charge of 2 negative. Since there are 2 of the atoms, 2 negative times 2 will be 4 negative. Therefore, Pb, or our lead, will be 4 positive. So the name of PbO2 will be lead, parenthesis, 4, and then your oxygen will be oxide. Naming compounds that contain only nonmetals will be our type 3 compounds. The rule for naming the type 3 binary compounds is that the first element in the formula is named first and the full element name is used. The second element is named as though it were an anion. The prefixes are used to denote the numbers of atoms present. So we have here, if the number is 1, we use the prefix mono. If it's 2, it will be di, 3 will be tri, 4 will be tetra, 5 will be penta, 6 will be hexa, 7 will be hepta, 8 will be octa. Now the prefix mono is never used for naming the first element. For example, CO is called carbon monoxide and not monocarbon monoxide. Now it's your turn. So for the first example, we have CO2, so C is carbon, and we have 2 of our oxygen, so we use the prefix di, oxide. So it will be carbon dioxide. For the second example, our first element is S or sulfur, and our second is a fluorine, which is 6. Therefore, we use the prefix hexa, fluoride. And then the last example, we have 2 of our nitrogen, so we use the prefix di, nitrogen. And then the second will be an oxygen where there are 4 of them, so we use the prefix tetra. But since it's a double vowel, we drop A, so it will be tetroxide. So N2O4 will be dinitrogen tetroxide. To summarize, if you have a binary compound, the second question that you have to ask is, does it contain a metal? If it is a no, then you name it by following the rule of the type 3, which is using the prefixes. If it contains a metal, then you ask the question, does the metal form more than one cation? If it is a no, then we follow the rule in naming a type 1, which use the element name for the cation. But if it contains more than one cation, then we follow the rule of a type 2, wherein we have to determine the charge of the cation and use a Roman numeral after the element's name for the cation. I hope you had fun and learned something new about naming binary compounds. And for those that are new to my virtual classroom, please don't forget to click that subscribe button and notification bell for your attendance today. And of course, so that you would know when the next Science Discovery episode be released. And as Teacher Maria would always say, live your life to the fullest, learn something new every day, and love one another as how our God loves us. See you next episode. Bye!